Hey THL, what's going on tonight? We are back for another HearthCenter. I am Donde, and I am joined by basically everyone that exists tonight. Icon and Lotus are here as usual, but we are also honored to have the Pro Series champions, which also happens to include Icon as a captain. That's FTL. Fuel is here with us tonight. Jetlaw is here with us tonight. Snake is going to be here with us tonight. He's joining a little bit later. Rabobson bailed on us tonight. And Liquid Ox and Itachi are not here, but they're here in spirit. So, everybody, how are we doing tonight? Icon, how are you doing, bud?
It's good, bro. How about you?
You know me, still trying to get a championship of my own. I want to know what the feeling's like one day. But Lotus, welcome.
Thank you, thank you. Good to be here as usual.
Yeah, absolutely. Good to have you back again. And as I mentioned, Fuel is here tonight. Fuel, welcome to Hearth Center.
Thank you. I think this is my first time on the show. Glad to be here.
First time, long time, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You can lie. You don't have to tell me. You don't watch. It's all good. No, glad to have you.
Yeah, yeah. No, glad to be here. And, I watch sometimes, but yeah, sometimes it'll get a little busy. Otherwise, I would watch every week.
Okay, that's what makes me feel better. And
Yeah.
and Jetlaw is here as well. Jetlaw, how you doing tonight, buddy?
I'm doing good, thank you.
Well, we're glad to have you guys all here tonight, and we will welcome Snake when he does arrive. But yeah, congrats first of all on the championship, the first official pro season. Even though there was technically three, but that was like season one because there's like the kappa and the beta or alpha or whatever we called it before. And so yeah, so that's like you're like the first real pro champions.
Yeah, every other championship doesn't count, and we are
Just
the
doesn't
only
matter.
Pro Series team that has a championship, so everybody else can fight us. Thank you very much, guys.
I don't have a pro championship, so I'm totally okay with that. Completely okay with it.
Yeah, I'm sure Rabobson is absolutely fine with that as well.
Well, he's not here to defend himself, so tough.
That's true. Haha, Rebob. You
Yeah.
live in a different country.
Yeah, man. If you don't want us to talk about your invalid championships, you should show up to when you get an invite to the show. But we do actually have like real things to talk about tonight. In addition, we are going to go back through FTL's pro season, just talk about pro as a whole, but specifically focus on you guys and how you rolled up through to the finals this season. We'll recap the finals itself. We're going to talk about the new duos series, which is starting up shortly. Lotus has a lot to say about that, so we will let him take the lead. We're going to talk about Legacy and Hero, the semifinals, and of course, we're going to start by recapping the Legacy and Hero quarterfinals. So as you can see, I'm the only one on the screen tonight because there's just too damn many people to fit here. So I know you guys don't want to just like look at me all night. So let's get some graphics up on the screen and talk about the Legacy quarterfinals. You can see that is what we were doing first. So let's see here. These are the four matches from last week in Legacy. So just starting at the top, Tap Last with a huge win over the Pod People, 18-7. Dad Legend with a not so huge win, but still a win nonetheless over to Stubbs, 14-13. To Stubbs, a team that a lot of people had either winning it all or going very deep into the playoffs. So that's a bit of an upset, I would imagine. And another upset would be a Noyo team over the round table, 18-9. And then finally, we have Wet Boys winning the Battle of the Boys over Dirty Mike and the Boys. I don't know how many more times I can say boys, but they won 16-10. So those are your four teams that are going to be advancing to the semifinals that we will talk about later. But let's just kind of run through here and talk about some things that jumped out to you guys. And I know Fuel and Jet, you guys haven't been on before, but feel free to jump in whenever. You guys are guests of honor this week, so your opinions are important at least for the next hour or so. So
All right,
We'll
awesome.
take it.
we take these. We take these. So yeah, let's start with Tap Last at the top here. Tap Last, 18-7. We had two sweeps right off the top two seeds here. Triss taking out our hat 3-0. Base took out Zeroshio 3-0. And then it was over. Icicles 3-1 over Wicked Good. So like that alone did it. But they got another win with Volkai over Direst Bear. And Desharma was the only player on Tap Last to drop his game, and he's also the only player who banned not Shaman. So you tell me if there's a correlation there. Anything here in particular that jumps out to you guys? Any matches that surprised you? I gotta say, I know Triss over our head isn't surprising necessarily, but I think the sweep is surprising to me.
I actually don't think so, because like he would just be like prepping really hard for pro, right? You know, and he would just be like focusing on one series. I don't know. That would seem like there, in terms of the energy that you have to spend overall, like there's sacrifices to be made there. You know, like you got to decide like which series gets your like utmost attention.
I suppose.
Well,
Maybe that was a factor.
Yeah, I know it wasn't pro that was getting most of Pat's attention last week. It's definitely Battlegrounds. But
Yeah, I was going to add that.
but one tidbit I found out during the THL meetup last week when I was speaking with Hat is that the Paladin he brought this week, he ran that new card. I don't know what it's called.
Sathravar.
So, I mean, I should know the name. I used it twice last week, but he used Sathravar in his Holy Wrath Paladin this past week. But in Pro, he actually did not include it, which he said was a mistake. So that was one interesting tidbit. And then another thing I wanted to point out was that Wicked Good was a sub for FTL last season and helped us a bunch of weeks. So it's cool to see him playing THL this season.
Yeah, it's not statistically a fantastic season for him, but always good to have new players, or I guess not new players entirely. He's been around for a bit, but playing playing an entire season, and I think it'll get he seems like a pretty good player from everything I've heard and everything everyone's talked about. So I think he'll see an improvement if he decides to stick around and play again next season.
Yeah, I mean, he's outstanding in terms of prep. He does that meta report with Pasca. So
yes.
he's an amazing teammate to have, and I've had bad seasons before. I wouldn't let it have any influence on how good of a player he is.
Well, let's move on to our second match here. This is like I said, I think one of the bigger upsets of the block here is Dad Legend over to Stubbs, 14-13. Now, Dad Legend is a team that's been around for a long time, and they've been very good for a while. So it's not like they don't belong in the playoffs or deep in the playoffs, for that matter. But the Stubbs, pretty strong roster. They had Comp, who was a top 3 player all season. Shim Jim finished the season 7-2 after his loss here to Honest Zabe, who is 7-1 himself so far. So if you just go down the list here, 3-2 Honest Zabe over Shim Jim. Myanodon fell to Comp 3-1. Yellow Dart 3-1 over Osmonaut, and then Starlax with a 3-2 over the Chronic, and Turd Herder, who appears to be a sub, fell to Shunsui 3-1. So nobody got swept, contributing to the very close score. Again, we noticed the person who did not ban Paladin did not win. Or, I'm sorry, did not ban Shaman, rather. Ban Paladin instead did not win. And I like the synergy at the top of the lineup here for Dad Legend, all 3 players playing the exact same 4 classes with the ban. And I don't think any of these results necessarily surprise me too much here. Anything you guys want to point out here that would, that maybe I'm missing, or something that shocked you a little bit?
Yeah, I think it's often a sign that teams are prepping hard together and working out what they think the optimal lineups are. When you see them come with a cohesive strategy like that, all bringing the same stuff, and looks like it paid off for them.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. I mean, obviously the ban Shaman strategy is not exactly revolutionary, but Paladin, Priest, Rogue, and Shaman it's a bit of an interesting pick because it's leaving out. Well, Hunter has been decently strong. That's been a pick that some people have brought. Warrior is a flexible class right now, and they just opted not to bring any of that. So interesting decision, and paid off for 2 out of the 3 of them.
One, it's kind of a little sidetrack, but one odd thing about this matchup is that my first 3 captains in THL were all played in this matchup, so it's kind of funny seeing them play with and against each other now on 3 totally different teams.
3 captains, or any of them, was one of them Yellow Dart?
Yellow Dart was not one of them. Comp was the first one from Defias way back in like April 2017, the Angoro meta, Then the Chronic on Prep Coin Concede. And then we kind of Starlax became the captain the following year on AP 4K.
Oh, all
So,
right.
So it's just weird seeing all those people in the same matchup now on different teams.
Fun fact for me is I actually interviewed with Comp to get onto Defias before I actually got picked up my very first THL season.
Yeah, he's been around for ages. Definitely one of the longest tenured.
He said no to me. Oof. I was too expensive. That's okay. Not a big deal. But a good match nonetheless. Good season for the Stubs. They've been in contention most of the last few seasons. So another good playoff finish for them. I'm sure they would have preferred to repeat instead. However, very rare to see that. So I think the biggest shock of this set though was a Noyo team over Roundtable. Not that a Noyo team is a bad team, but the Roundtable was consistently one of the best teams, if not the best team, in the regular season, aside from Wet Boys probably, and Tap last. So Roundtable, Lotus, what happened here, bud? I'll let you lead off. Was it a prep issue? Was it just some unlucky rolls? What would happen here?
I think there was a bit of everything. There was a DQ related issue with Copper. He never updated his league decks, so he went with his hero decks into his legacy match. And that was pretty bad.
Yeah, it's not ideal.
But other than that, I can say from my front, there were two things that contributed to my loss. One was the fact that I could have practiced more and I was playing too much Battlegrounds because Battlegrounds is amazing. And second, I really hate Elysian RNG. And that can sometimes just choose to lose you a match for no reason.
But I think
But
Blizzard just
he
cut
did
you a
play
check
well.
for the Battlegrounds plug right there.
Yeah. I'm taking any money at this point.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt. But yeah, that's a tough way to end the season there. Town with a 3-2 win over you there, Lotus Knight. Itachi did get the only win for Roundtable, last one of the season for him over Dano. And then Amaj, right? I'm pronouncing that correctly. Over Brick 3-1, Z-Thund over Super Murloc 3-1, and then Madden Arms over Copper Talon 3-1. So pretty solid showing from a Noyo team. Has to have them pretty pumped going to the next round of the playoffs to to give them a little bit of a confidence boost to say, we just took out a pretty strong team. Who's going to stop us next round? So congrats to them.
Yeah, and I do want to say, they are a great team. I was talking to them post-match. Knowlton is a great guy. I think they'll do really well. It's not surprising to me that they went this far, and yeah, I'm looking forward to see them hopefully winning this. We'll see.
All right. Yeah, I mean, you always want to lose to the team that wins it all, right? That's the best you can hope for.
Right.
So last but not least, Wet Boys will advance over Dirty Mike and the boys 16-10. Avi with a 3-2 win over Tawny Montana. Daravis with the 3-0 sweep over Surlos. Matty Ebbs also a 3-0 sweep over Brushy Tuna. Icy Finney, the 3-2 win over JR Juggerlaw. And then Lefty with the win 3-2 over Quirky Turtle. So 3 wins to 2, and the score is a little bit more lopsided thanks to the 2 sweeps. I guess I'm not surprised that Daravis is one of those sweeps. He's been fantastic repeatedly every week in every series that he plays. And then Avi at the top. That's a tough top 2 to beat. And you're usually going to start in an 0-2 hole right away. Unless you can pick up the other 3 wins, you're probably not going to advance there. So I think that was probably pretty expected. Wet Boys did have the talk about being the team that typically crushes the regular season, then shows up to the playoffs and gets rolled. So I'm sure they're happy to get off the schneid a little bit, a la SPG last season. So Diamond, we do not have camps for everyone, unfortunately. So sorry to disappoint you, but please stay. Don't leave. We need viewers. So yeah, Wet Boys versus DMB. Anybody got some opinions there?
It's not surprising. I think Wet Boys is the on-paper strongest team in Legacy right now, and the fact that Dad Legend and Wet Boys have to play in the semifinals is a shame, because I think Dead Legend is by far the best consistent long-standing Legacy team. They consistently make playoffs and get high results in like the finals of Legacy, and I think that Wet Boys is the best new Legacy team. And so to see them, one of them have to go out in semis is a shame.
Yeah, it's the unfortunate part about playoffs. Obviously, every team can't win. In fact, every team loses but one. So plenty of good teams will not advance or even make the playoffs in some cases. It does happen based on the divisions, based on the conferences, etc. So, yeah, that's
There's some personal story there.
not one that I think needs to be rehashed in any way. I think we all.
Nah, you always make playoffs, Thunder. You just get knocked out round one.
That's not true. SPG absolutely did not make the playoffs this season.
Oh yeah, okay.
We got if the first round was the regular season, then yes, we got knocked out in the first round.
Okay. There you go.
So, yep. It's sort of like making the playoffs, like we were a team that existed. So, just to give Diamond a shot of what we're working with tonight, because, yeah, it's just me on cam. Sorry, buddy. But we're going to move on to the Hero quarterfinals recap. And let me bring that up on the screen here. I know, Fuel, you're a big Hero guy, so this might be a little bit more down your alley as far as interest is concerned.
I actually didn't play Hero this season.
I know, but you love Last Hero Standing, right?
When I have the time to give it the attention it deserves, yeah, it is my favorite format.
That's reasonable.
Yeah,
there's
a discussion on the boards a while back where we're talking about how it's a very demanding format because there's so much thought that can go into it.
Oh, for sure.
And it lets you play more non-standard.
God, imagine if Pro was best of 5 open list LHS. Imagine how fun that would be. Like, I know that it's not going to happen because it's in no way going to prepare anybody for like GM or like the Hearthstone competitive scene, but like, dude, that would be that's like the dream right there.
Well, yeah. Pro is not, but there's another series that might be similar to that. We'll get to it later.
Ooh, that's a plug. I like it. A little foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Before we get there, let's talk about what happened in Hero Series. BIG's defeated Kel's Good Boys 13-7. Shim Jim and Lotus Knight, you did not play, so we only had 4 matches in this one. I defeated Twos 3-1. Jamie's lost to Boozosaurus 3-1. Ironfall 3-1 over 2-Star Mako, and then Crackshot with a 3-1 win over Turd Herder. So first thing I want to say, shout out to Booz for turning his season around at the end. Really turned it on going to the playoffs there. I think he won 3 weeks in a row. So unfortunate that he was the only one to do so for his team. I say unfortunate, but I mean, I did want to win. So on a personal level, I love Boozosaurus, but for me, BIG's winning was important. So happy to advance. Definitely a good series there. I will say, we were, just trying to take the playoff match as no different than regular season. A little bit unfortunate that we kind of backed into the playoffs with a loss to the Bees in the last week of the regular season. But hey, you know what? We're still standing. And that's what matters. But unfortunately, can't say the same for the Bees. Sorry, Diamond. So anybody before I don't like to exalt too much about my own team. So if anybody has opinions on this match, you're welcome to speak up. Go right ahead.
Expected. That's all.
I mean, I did expect it, but I think we put on a good game, and yeah, I'm proud of KGB this season.
No, solid season. Anytime you make the playoffs is obviously strong. Crackshot in the 5 was great team building. Crackshot is a fantastic 5 seed, a fantastic player. Period. He's been good in prep all season. He's been fun story about Crackshot is he actually posted to play Legacy. And I saw him post to play Legacy, and I was like, wouldn't you rather play LHS instead? And he wasn't sure at first. He accepted it and then accepted a Legacy invite as well, and then decided he didn't want to play Legacy and only played Hero. So I was pretty happy that he stuck with us because it's been a pretty successful season. So hopefully we can run that back at least 2 more weeks. But Asa, dude, one of the newest teams is just they've been rolling this season. 17-6 over Tap last, And that's just impressive across the board there. The only person to lose was Snake, who unfortunately, like we mentioned at the top, is not here yet, so I can't really harass him about that until he shows up. But 3 sweeps: Sanguine over Mad Eye. Actually, Shiny Pants might have been a DQ win over base, and then Silver T-Fox Demon over Volkai. And then Medusa's, of course, with a 3-2 win over 8-Bit, not any less impressive specifically. I'm not sure exactly what happened with Base versus Shiny Pants. I don't know if that one mattered. It might have been already over by that point. But yeah, this is...
No, his was like one of the first matches that actually mattered quite a bit.
Oh,
Base
no.
just didn't respond to like any emails and like communicated nothing, and so Shiny Pants was like, okay, I mean at this point, I'm going to take the forfeit win, and we have won. So.
Yeah, it's tough in the playoffs. Anybody else thoughts on this one? It was pretty clear cut. Asadud was the better team all season, so not a surprise result.
Sanguine's an amazing player, and also I'm kind of a Sanguine fanboy, but also Medusa's spent a lot of time prepping to beat 8-Bit. Snake will tell you that he probably spent 20 hours in voice with Medusa's, just sitting in there with him and running matchups over and over and over and just trying every possible combination of stuff and just absolutely grinding every possible matchup like with him so that he would be comfortable facing him. Diamond says, I kind of just a Sadud fanboy, and I'm like, yes, I actually am. They are the only hero team that I offered to coach, and I've been with them the whole season, and they have legitimately one of the best team environments that I've ever seen in Hero Series, and they're all really good friends, and so I'm really excited for them. They're going to go far.
I'm a big fan of the all friends dynamic. I think if you can fill out a team and the PR works, having 5 people who are friends is a very cool thing. I've been fortunate enough to have my one friend that I know in real life playing in our series, Coles, and being on my legacy team this whole time. And unfortunately, there isn't enough room for more of him because our team would be very far over PR. But it's a lot of fun to have friends that you know in real life playing on your team as well. But speaking of Coles, his team, that's called a segue, by the way. His team fell to the Cult 12-7. Coles in particular got swept by Avi. Itachi and Smoke Salmon did not have to play. Big Ted 3-1 win over Liquid Ox. Chewbacca 3-2 win over Mr. Newt. And Jim Philos gets the only win for the Minutemen, 3-0 over Super Murloc. And I just want to say before we talk about this match specifically, kudos to the Minutemen for literally coming together in like a 24-hour span and then making the playoffs. That's an impressive feat for a team, regardless of whether or not you actually had a lot of time to build your team. It's just an impressive feat to make the playoffs, period, over all the very good teams that are in our various series. So congrats to the Minutemen on a successful season, but the Cult on a slightly more successful season that will hopefully, if I have any words about it, come to an end this upcoming week. And Itachi didn't get to play, but I'm coming for him this week hard on Friday Night Fights, 9 p.m. You be there. You'll see me. You'll see him. And then hopefully at the end you'll hear my voice talking and not Itachi's, because then I'll be crying.
Yeah, Itachi's honestly on pace to have the most insane THL season possible, considering he won Pro, and he's still alive in both Hero and Legacy.
That is true.
And then additionally,
he's not alive in Legacy.
Oh no, he lost this past week.
Lost.
Yeah, that was
right.
Still, I mean, if you're going to win 2 out of 3
series, he was like 8-2 or something though, right?
Yeah, yeah, it was kind of insane. 8-1, I think,
or 8-1. He finished 8-1, dude. Yeah.
So what? In Legacy, that was the only match he actually played this past week. Then, because in our final and in here, he won without playing.
Yeah.
You know, he probably did like all the prep for like all the teams. It's just funny to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know he's a big prep guy. He's a big piece of every team that he's on, in terms of setting lineups, setting bands, etc. So it's not just to say he didn't play his match doesn't mean he didn't do work. So I'm sure he did contribute very heavily to his 2 teams' wins, and he even contributed well in a loss. So it's shout out to him for having a fantastic season too. But that was like the little part of praise that I will give him. The blood feud is back on now, so no more praise.
Sounds good.
But anything else we want to talk about this match before we move on to our final hero match?
Cult's a really good team. Cult versus Sawdude is going to be really hype. I think that's how it's going to turn out.
That would be a finals matchup if Cult can get by BIGs.
We're looking. Oh, that's the one that's happening.
Yeah, buddy.
That's why you and Itachi are. Yeah.
That's not why we're having the blood feud. He just decided randomly that he wanted beef with somebody. He called me out, and I have no idea why. But he knew I'd play along, so we're just gonna roll with it. Also, I think he's an Alabama fan. I hate Alabama, so whatever.
That is fair.
Roll Tide.
No.
I didn't know that was a football thing. I thought that was just like we're from the South and like we meme on like people that are uneducated and have an accent.
No, it's University of Alabama.
I have no idea.
They're the Crimson Tide, so any of their athletics, that's like their battle cry is Roll Tide. So, which in football they pretty much do every season. So they didn't this last week. They lost to LSU. But Tan Pams is advancing over Bees. Bees 14-12. This was, I mean, based on the fact that Bees beat us last week, I was kind of surprised to see this result. So, Rod Mexico 3-2 win over Lefty. Dirty Mike 3-1 win over Jayak. Brushy with a 3-2 win over Mata. Pond swept Osmonaut. And then It's Me, Mike V, with a 3-1 win over Copper Talon. So Copper just had kind of a rough week all around, unfortunately, after having a pretty good season. Actually, he's had a couple pretty good seasons now. But good to see Ron Mexico, who is a strong contender for crossover player of the season, get another win. So good for him. He's having a fantastic year up in that top spot. And, unfortunately, comes to an end for Bees, but that's he still put in work this season.
Yeah, he did. Super proud of Ron. He was on my legacy team, he absolutely killed it across all the series. Did a really amazing job. Our legacy team didn't do super well, and we didn't help him prep at all, as is our way. And he still pulled out a bunch of wins. So yeah, Ron's a beast.
Yeah, good for him, and he's been now. I think this is his second season in THL, and he's been very strong in both of them. Plus, he did very well in the World Cup. So, Diamond, the crossover player might be Avi again. It's possible.
Not after pro.
Nope. So the way Icon, you have a bit of an insight into how this is determined. Is I took everybody's records and distilled them down in secret, and then distributed them to a random number, and then showed everybody what the records were, so nobody knows who is who. And so people have just been voting on I think player 4 is the best, or I think and we've been slowly eliminating people. Well, everyone but me, because I know who's who. So the crossover player is going to be decided and obviously revealed when we do awards. So before we move on, obviously we're going to go to the duos preview next here, and I'll let Lotus take the floor to start with. I did want to say thank you to everybody who is obviously watching tonight, but if you do have the opportunity to subscribe to the channel and have not done so already, that would be much appreciated. It helps continue to allow us to bring you even better content every single week, and also enables us to now do more giveaways, prizes, etc. So it goes to a good cause. It goes to you and everybody else in THL. So more prizes, more giveaways, more fun, more subs. So do. When is awards night? Awards night will be the week after the finals for Hero and Pro, or Hero and Legacy, so 2 weeks from now. So duos.
Yeah.
Guys, Snake is here. Can we
Snake
say
is
hi
here.
to him?
Hey, Snake.
What's up, baby girl? How you doing?
Kind of slithered right into the chat.
Yeah, I'm here now.
How's it going, Snake?
The tech week for anyone that does theater.
Well, we timed it so that we didn't talk about as much pro stuff as possible until you got here. So you have not missed any chances to relive your your last week victory. So we'll get to that in a second. We're gonna let Lotus take the floor here and talk about duos right now. So Lotus, what you got for us?
Sure. So I'm sure you've heard me talk about it. I talked about it yesterday, and I've posted a lot in the Discord channel about it. But we're going to have duo series tournament beginning next week. We want to announce the brackets this weekend, but the idea is you're going to pair up with a player. It may be a friend or someone you meet through THL, and you'll just play your matches together. In fact, I think everyone here will agree, but you tend to play so much better when you're playing with someone else. It's kind of amazing because they'll help you with tactical decisions and they'll help you just discuss the plays. And it's amazing just how consistent you'll feel yourself playing. So I think that's the kind of experience we're all trying to recreate in duos. And yeah, I'm excited to what will happen. We have 24 teams signed up, 22 shown on the screen, which were revealed yesterday. Some of the players here are playing as well in duos. So Icon is playing with Snake.
Yeah, we need to figure out a clever name for ourselves, actually.
I like the name I gave you guys. It's not that good, but
Snake, are we gonna be DSM too, or are we gonna try to hold that in the wings?
I'm not sure. I think that might be something we save for.
All right, yeah, we'll save that. All right, bet.
Yeah, I popped
Wait, we should.
I popped the duo teams up on the screen there, so anybody who's watching the stream can see who is paired with who so far.
Snake will do. Wait, Snake. Oh my god, I forgot to tell you, but I was gonna call you about this and tell you. Our team name is gonna be OK Boomer. That's our duo team name. Yeah, there you go. That's it. We're ready.
So Lotus, obviously this is an idea that you came up with, which you did come up with this and pull it together in a pretty short time span. And it sounds like a good time. It sounds like a lot of fun. I think you're completely correct about the fact that you generally slow down and play better when you're co-oping with another person or people, as the case may have it. And this might help show that some players are better as the sum of their parts than just 1+1. So even even some of the weaker teams, like I'm looking at what's this one, Lotus Knight plus Skittles, maybe has a shot. I'm just kidding. That's actually probably pretty good.
He's just kidding. You don't have a shot.
Oh no, that's not it.
I mean, if some of the duos that have been rumored actually join, I might not have a shot. But that being said, I have all the duos that have signed up right now, and I think honestly, every single one of the duos stands a chance because if you have good synergy with the person you're playing with, you just go so far ahead. You end up focusing on different things. Each one of you will have a different focus in the match. It's kind of amazing.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting series, and I'm curious to see how it plays out. I personally have not signed up. I don't know if I'm going to have enough time going into the holiday season, unfortunately, but I will certainly be watching this, and I'm excited to see who comes out on top. So it's cool to see that not only are we, getting a few pairs of players that might not necessarily have played too much before, or some that are fairly new to THL, like, just kind of looking at like Jack Attack with Ace, which is kind of cool. I don't think we've had Jack Attack in the series before. Papa Jason with my Andon's a pretty strong looking team. That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited. This is a cool thing, and if anybody is left there, there's still time to sign up. Is that right, Lotus?
Yeah, we're having the signups, and we're going to decide the brackets this weekend. So the signups are planning to be open until Friday. So we have 24 right now. We will take any even number. So if we get 2 more signups, it's fine. If we get 4 more, it's fine. Just come by. And if you don't know, if you feel like I really want to play, I think it's a cool idea, but I don't have a duo, post in the channel. You might have someone they come up and say he wants to play, or really anyone from THL might just come and ask you for some games together.
And what's the format again of this?
Yeah, it's going to be hero format.
That's what I thought.
So it's going to be LHS, closed deck list, best of 5.
Well, that should be fun. And that's definitely more incentive for me as a player who likes Hero a lot more than Legacy lately. So yeah, definitely check it out if you haven't already. At least stop by the Duos channel in the Discord, and if you're interested, like Lotus said, just get your name out there, and you might be able to find somebody who's looking to play. You never know if there's somebody else sitting in the same position as you, saying, "Man, I wish there was somebody who wanted to play." If one of you posts, maybe that's enough to get a spot. So good luck to
Yeah.
everybody playing. That starts in 2 weeks?
It will start actually. We're announcing the brackets and we're starting next week.
Next week. All right. So
we're going super fast.
That's good. Speedy, zoom, zoom.
Mm-hmm.
Go, speedy, zoom, zoom, please.
I never get that right. I need you, Icon, for just that specifically.
Yeah, that you do.
Yes, you do. All right. So we have this is the long-awaited moment. We're going to talk about the pro season in review, and this is why Fuel, Snake, Jetlaw, Icon, you're always here anyway. But this is why you guys are here, to talk about how your season went. First of all, before we even get into that, I just want to ask you guys, how do you feel about Shielded Conquest as a format? I know it's a short-lived format. Wow, that was somebody who's not very happy about it. I know that it was a short-lived format insofar that it really didn't, I guess, catch on too much in the competitive Hearthstone scene, but I enjoyed it quite a bit, and I thought the World Cup was fun, and I thought Pro Series was fun this season too. So, Fuel, I'll start with you. What did you think about the format?
Well, I'm probably a little biased because my win rate in Shielded Conquest was so much better than an Unshielded. Legacy, I went like 2-6, and between World Cup and Pro, I went like 15-3 or something. So pretty much exact opposite win rates with shields or without. So I'm gonna say it's great, and all Hearthstone should only be this format.
I wouldn't even complain, to be honest with you. I think it's a fun format, so I'm with you, regardless of results. But yeah, it's cool. I'm glad you did well, and I'm glad you enjoyed it. So yeah, nice to get a good season, even if it's only the one season you get to play it under your belt. Snake, thanks for joining us. What did you think about the format?
I thought that the format was actually okay until Shaman became such an oppressive deck that everyone just shielded it and got a free win. Like that's actually like a genuine response to it. Like I feel like if there wasn't that like one class that you could just shield and get a guaranteed win because it has no real hard counters, I think that the format's good. Like, but after that point, it just turned into like who won with Shaman and then another deck first. Like,
well, I guess the benefit of the open list is that obviously you can't flex the Shaman. Most people are going to play either Quest Shaman or straight Evolve Shaman. Was there a way to counter that in this format? Like, could you bring decks that just said, you know what, I am not letting Shaman win, and if you want to try and play into it, good for you. Was that something that you ever felt like was a viable strategy?
No, and every time we tried to do that, we lost. Yes.
There's not enough decks that beat Shaman to do that.
We would be like, okay, we can bring like Combo Priest and like Control Warrior and like something else, and then we would just lose. Like it just did not work.
And if you were to hard counter Shaman, then your opponent would just not play Shaman, and they would be able to win with literally any other deck because the decks that do beat Shaman aren't good
pretty
against
specialized.
Like anything else.
Very true. Yeah, I mean it's a problem that's been happening not only just in the Shielded Conquest, but it's been happening in other series. Especially, I mean, if you choose not to ban the Shaman for whatever reason, some people have been crazy enough to not do that. Some people have succeeded in Hero specifically, but not so much in Legacy. So yeah, that's unfortunate meta shift, of course, the midway through the season there. But Jet, I'll ask you as well. Same question. What's your general thoughts on Shielded Conquest?
Overall, I did not mind the format. I think if you're playing best of 3, it is the best format for it. I'm not a fan of Conquest best of 3. If you switch to best of 5, there's kind of really no point of the when you have to play if you're just going to bring 4 decks only.
True.
So in that case, I didn't mind it at all. it did open up some interesting strategies, as they were saying. It just very interesting where you can bring a deck and not have to play it at all. And it allows you to be more risky with one of the decks you bring. And yeah, if we were gonna talk about like how this specific meta factored into it, as the other guys were talking about, you couldn't really have a deck that was gonna beat both aggro, like Evolve Shaman or Quest Shaman, like consistently, and you couldn't most of the time you couldn't really tell which one your opponent was gonna bring. So it seemed like the better strategy was to have all your decks hard counter the other decks your opponent was bringing, so you're guaranteed like 2 favorable matchups. And if you're obviously going to bring Shaman, and you can try to tech the Shaman to win the mirror match if you have to lead off with the mirror, because normally most people queue their shield deck first because they're just at the best percentage of getting a good matchup.
Right, there's a reason you shield the deck, of course. You intend to play it, so that definitely makes sense. And it's obviously I played in pro as well, so I went through a lot of the same thought processes that you guys are talking about. So this is not entirely shocking to me in any way. I will say it's awesome that we now harbor all this knowledge about Shielded Conquest that we will clearly use going forward when we play Hearthstone, as it is a super dead format, it seems like, as is Specialist. So, but I would like to see it continue to be a thing. I don't know if they're going to do that GM again, but it would be kind of cool to still have a place in competitive Hearthstone. So we'll have to see. But yeah, so now what I want to do is talk about your season, FTL season in pro. So I've got your entire schedule here up on the screen now.
Oh God.
Yeah. So if you're looking at it, from the left to the top is week 1, 2, 3, 4, and then on the right is top 5, 6, 7. So this is your regular season. So you guys started out, with a close match against Propane Gang, and that was a 9-7 loss. So it's not, not like there was any sort of alarm bells going off there in week 1. Liquid Ox took a win over our hat. Snake dropped the game 2-star Mako. Fuel beat Darkside, as you do in pro. And Kung Mar, oof. I can say that, he was my captain in Legacy, so that's fine. And Kung Mar would show that he had the juice here. He won 2-1 over Itachi, and Top Hat beat you Icon 2-0. So this was before Jetlaw was available, right? I think you think you missed the first 2 weeks of the season, or just the first week of the season?
Yeah, I missed the first week. I was like away like the whole week. Barely played with the cards at that point, completely unprepared to play. So it was great. Icon could step in. He kind of knew that.
No, it wasn't. It was really bad.
It was great to the tune of 0 game wins and points.
Yeah, it's me subbing myself out in every season of Pro Series that I've played in. Me subbing myself out has been the best possible move that I can make for my team. So I don't regret.
I think this is just... Oops, sorry, you go ahead.
No, it is interesting how this week 1 matchup ended up being the finals as well.
Yes, and of course the result was very different, which was nice for you guys too. So I didn't really mean to do this in the graphic, but I'm now just noticing that the left is basically pre-nerf or pre-Uldum in the tombs, and then the right is the new meta, which you can see all the dark blue that shows up when week 5.
Once Evolve came into the meta.
Yeah, once Evolve became a card that you could play in your deck, that was the end of the diversity. So you guys came out swinging in week 2 though. 12-3 win over for the boys. That was your is that your biggest win by points all season? I think it was. Yeah. So
yeah.
So at that point, those of us who predicted FTL bad to the bone to be the finals matchup, we're feeling pretty good. We're like, all right, FTL lost close in week 1, they crushed in week 2, they're gonna go just kind of roll through this series, and then week 3 happened. So what happened in week 3?
That's my fault. I lost.
You did.
Okay.
You did lose, as did 3 of your teammates. Snake was the only one to get a win that week.
Yeah.
I could probably look at what happened that week specifically, but there was a period during the middle of the season, like the early season in the middle of the season, where we just sort of lacked like the kind of cohesion that we sort of found at the end of the season. I think that we like didn't we weren't sort of firing all cylinders in terms of prep. We weren't really sort of putting out the effort that I think we needed to like take all these other teams seriously and stuff. And it was basically just we weren't all sort of doing everything that we could do. And I think that eventually when we started doing that, we figured it out. But the middle stretches here with like Tap Blast and the Unknown. I mean, I don't really know how we won versus Bad to the Bone, but like in Doctor versus Doctor Boom and stuff, I think we sort of we're in a rough spot, and then we figured it out
I can tell
the
you
final week.
exactly how we beat Bad to the Bone, but we can get to that.
Oh yeah. Here that was.
Yeah, I mean,
oh boy.
I'm basically I was away like all of September, which was like the first 4 weeks, and was being away. I try to do a lot of my work for my own match on the weekend, and without having a weekend, it was very hard to catch up, and I wasn't able to help out my teammates, and it did feel like we were kind of good groove, and it definitely contributed. I wasn't, even though we won 12-3 week 2, I wasn't feeling too confident at that point. And it definitely showed over the next few weeks with how our performance was. But I do think that the wild cards coming back into play was a nice wake up and like shift to get us like refocused and back on like an even playing field with what decks and stuff. Because like I knew I didn't play Combo Priest, I didn't have time to learn it, so it was definitely a disadvantage in the previous meta not being able to play it.
Yeah, and you can see that shift there from you guys, as you mentioned, 1-3 in the first 4 weeks, 30 points over the first 4 weeks. That's what, just averaging 7.5 points, which is not even, on pace for on playoff pace at that point. And then you guys shift into gear in week 5.
That might have been last place, honestly.
I mean, was that not the case? I think you guys were in last going into week 6, if not maybe 7th in week 6.
Even going into week 7, we were tied for last.
Exactly.
Yep.
So I mean, that just shows how competitive Pro was this season as a whole. That you were in last place and not eliminated, and far from it, not even not eliminated. You actually managed to make the playoffs and win it all. So that's impressive nonetheless. But let's talk about that shift into week 5, because you guys seem to be all pointing that out as kind of the centerpiece of your season there. That was the predicted finals matchup, was FTL Bad to the Bone. Ended up being a fantastic game, 10-9, with 3 of you getting wins. All were 2-1 except for the one sweep that Pasca got over Itachi. But talk me through that one.
Yeah, Snake. Why don't you? This was a highlight of your season, bro. Why don't you talk about that one?
So in my match against Avi, it was 1-1 match point, and he I don't know if it was him BMing or if he just
No. He was trying to BM Snake. We are on air. You need to present this in the flashiest and most storylined light possible. Feel free to say literally anything you want within reality.
Gotcha. So he pretty much left me on 1 health, emoted, and then ended his turn, and then I hit him for a 25 damage combo with Zephyrus and Unleash the Hounds, and ended up winning.
Well, because he was trying to roll Rag for lethal, right? Like, he was trying to do the thing where Rag rolls into the face, out of 5 minions or some shit.
Yeah, if he attacked face with everything, he killed me. I think it was with an extra 6 damage or something like that. But instead, he put me to 1, cleared my board, and evolved a 7-drop, and was trying to kill me with Rag. And then the next turn, I just played Unleash the Hounds, traded 1, played Zephyrus, played Bloodlust, and hit him for 25. And that's the only reason I was able to win 2-1, and the only reason we won the week.
That's a thing. That's impressive. And
yeah, thank you, Avi. I appreciate it.
I was going to say one of the questions that I had for all of you was what was your favorite moment of the season. So I'm glad that just kind of organically came up in conversation here, because it seems like that was probably your favorite moment. And that's a pretty good one to have. So yeah, big win that week. Anything else you guys want to talk about from that matchup?
I mean, we wouldn't have even made the playoffs or anything without that happening. So it just shows you how every point always matters in THL. Happens every single season.
For sure. Yeah, that 1 point could. Yeah, not only. Well, it was more than 1 point, too, because obviously that helped you win the entire week. But yes, your point.
It was like
stands.
4. Yeah, that was like 4 points. But yeah, literally.
Right. And so that leads us into the next week. Of course, a 1 point loss to Dr. Boom Shakalaka, another team that you played again in the playoffs. Close series there. Just couldn't quite get it, but it was enough that it kept you in the hunt going into week 7 against my team, the other guys. And we were in kind of the opposite boat where we just needed something. We just needed a few points. A win would get us there, and then we got crushed. Everybody lost except for who's that? Who got that win? Who was that got the win? Donde got the win. He was the one who got the win. Everybody else got crushed. So those were sad times in our Discord, I'll tell you what. But you guys, you did what you had to do. You took care of business and got enough points to get into the playoffs. So congratulations on that. Let's go ahead and pull up the playoff matchups. Because you thought we were done with the regular season. We're not. We got more stuff to talk about.
Yeah. One last thing before we leave the regular season.
Yeah.
It was around week 4 or week 5. Both Itachi and Jetlaw started stepping up in a really big way in terms of prep. And you can really, around that point, you can really see the flex point in our fortunes. I'd been doing basically nothing. Actually, I said it in past tense, but that was the whole season. And really, Itachi and Jet were the absolute carries for us on the prep side. It made such a huge difference for them to step up when they did.
And like Jet does so much prep normally that like he was super missed when he was like away and like working and stuff. Like he literally makes my job easier as like captain, man. Like he will ping individual players if like they haven't scheduled their match yet to like remind them. He'll like check in with every player to see if they need prep. He creates a system around himself where he makes all of the other players feel more organized and function better and like stay on task with stuff. And when we had that in full force, it just allowed us to do all of our tasks much more effectively, and I think that was a really big turning point for us as well around week 5 that most people like won't know about unless they're in the team
or watching our show right now, of course.
Yeah,
I mean, Itachi though was literally like making like everyone's deck.
He made entire 4-deck lineups for everybody,
like the first half of the season, and I mean he still did that with crazy work ethic, but I mean we got a little bit better taking some weight off of his shoulders as the season went on. But I definitely got rejuvenated from the wild cards being inserted since I used to play with them in the past. And Res Priest was a favorite deck of mine. I'm a lot more comfortable with that than Combo Priest, so that was an easy switch.
Yeah, it's definitely a viable deck, and it's. I don't even think most people are playing with the quest at this point. I know I did on stream last week, but I don't think that's a common thing at this point. It's just straight Res Priest.
Yeah, there was one. I think the semifinals I brought the quest in as a tech card, but for the most part, no one else in our team did when we brought the deck.
Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and move on to the playoffs here. And I was incorrect. I said that you guys played Dr. Boom Shakalaka. You played the Unknown in the first round of the playoffs, so my apologies there. But yeah, the Unknown was a team that was, I think they were the 1 seed, and they kind of came out of nowhere a little bit, as their name would imply. No one really projected them to be the top seed, and you guys won it 9-8, and that was with Fuel and Snake dropping 0-2 in the top 2 slots. Everybody else, you guys had a pretty big sub there for Itachi, with Eddie jumping in for a 2-1 win over Solo Jazz, and Liquid Ox got the win 2-1. Jetlaw, you got the win over Shadow Ranger 2-0. So I guess Eddie's the big story of this week here. Like, what was the connection there? How did you pull that one off?
Dude, if we had to pick out if I had to pick out like a moment from this season, it's 100% this, because like going into the week, Itachi pinged us and he was like, I have a cold, like I'm really sick, I can't play. I need to rest. You are going to have to find an emergency sub.
Not just going into the week. This is the day of his match.
Oh yeah, right, yeah. Oh my God! Wait, yeah, that was yeah.
It was Sunday. It was literally the last. It was right after my match because I was the fourth match. I won it, so then it tied it up 2-2.
Yeah,
and we had him.
That was it. It's 2-2, and
we're
he
doing,
just
like,
goes
all this prep crazy.
And he announces to us, I cannot play. You are going to have to get an emergency sub. And I'm so stressed out at this point because I'm thinking, like, we prepped Itachi, like, to win. Like we prepared a specific player to win this. You know, like, it's going to be hard to impart all of that to a sub. Like, yes, I have Rabobs and, like, we can tag him in, but, like, it's not ideal at all. Like, Itachi knows what he's doing. He is ready for this, and now he can't play. But then Itachi goes, hey, by the way, I have an emergency sub. And we're like, oh, yeah, who is it? And he's like, it's Eddie. And I just about lost my mind, dude. Yeah, that's...
I mean, that's what Pro Series is for, right? There's no limits, there's no rules. And he's a former THL player, so it's not that crazy. But yeah, that's a pretty big spot to have someone of his caliber come into and just get the win.
I would also like to point out he said about 4 words in the entire time he was in our Discord.
And he just won. He just stopped.
Said,
he's not still there.
He said, where are my decks? Thank you, I won. Like, that's pretty much what it
was.
Yeah, he shared a screenshot of his opponent with the lackey rolling Millhouse Man of Storm. But
he's like, it's not going well. And then he reverse swept from there, actually. So.
But when Eddie was playing in THL, I remember he was so dominant, it was like absurd. He went like almost like a whole season in 2 leagues, like losing 1 match. It was complete dominance, and personally, I would have had the same exact confidence as Itachi playing in his spot. So I would take Itachi in our winner take all match any day of the week. But what is interesting is you can argue that Eddie is pretty much like the most successful player in the shielded format because in Grandmasters he did finish first in his group.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
They didn't use this format in Bucharest, but yeah, but still,
true.
Yeah, literally, like, all right, you can argue the most dominant player in the world at this point, but specifically in the format, he was one of the most successful in the short life it's had.
Yeah.
Well, that was, I mean, for me, that was probably the high watermark of your season, just getting that win over a very tough team. Not that Pro Pain Gang was a less tough team, or worse team necessarily, but the drama was a little bit lessened in the finals, which we now see on screen here.
Now, right. Before we go to the finals, quickly.
Sorry, before we go to the finals.
So there was 3 things I wanted to point out. First, we should have pointed out in the regular season how we literally tied for the last seed.
Yeah.
And won on the tiebreaker.
Jesus. Yeah, dude.
And I believe if Twos got a DQ or something, and if he actually didn't get the DQ and won his match, we wouldn't have been in it. So that, like AV, we got to thank Twos for that.
Well, not even winning this match, but just winning 1 game.
Yeah,
right.
Point.
Yeah.
If he plays, if he shows up, yes, then there is not a world in which we make playoffs or win.
So that was one thing. I actually didn't get my second win of the season until week 7, so I was not too happy with my performances at that point. And then in the semifinal match, like we said, this week Itachi was absurd with his prep. He kind of like figured out how this format works, and based on what Brushy Tuna he thought would bring,
the all green chart. Yep.
He tells people to submit this lineup, and it was literally the best matchup chart I've ever seen in THL. It was
like everything was 55.
It was literally the worst matchup he had was like 53%, like overall, like with four classes.
I think the worst was like a mirror.
Yeah.
But what's crazy about it? I mean, even though it was the greenest chart I've ever seen, he as you see, he lost 0-2.
Best of 3 is best of 3. Yeah.
No matter how much prep. Yeah, no matter how much prep you put in, you still have to play your match, and it's never over. No matter what the numbers say, you always gotta play as best as you can and give you the best chance of winning.
Yeah, I guess I should have asked Jetlaw before the show not to tell this story. It doesn't make me look so good, but no, Brushy Tuna had a ridiculous season. He earned it. The unknown as well. We actually scrimmed them before the season for a warm up, and we beat them pretty handily. And we're like, okay, cool, no problem. And then they just flattened.
And then they went like 6-1 in the regular season.
They destroyed everyone, including us, in the regular season. So it was huge to squeak a win by them.
Yeah, shout out to DeCharmo for putting that team together and having a very successful season too.
Extremely successful. Yeah, they did a great job.
So with that said, there was one game left to play, and that was Propane Gang, the rematch from Week 1, and it did not go anywhere close to how it went in Week 1. You guys stomped them 10-3. So this, I believe, the order of the matches here, I think, was Snake the first one to play against Kungmar?
Yes, it was Snake, then Ox
morning on Sunday,
right? Because
and then Fuel
Sunday, yeah, Sunday night,
and then Jetlaw, and then oh god, this is I'm such a bad captain. Somebody do this for me.
It was Fuel and then Jet was last, right?
Yeah.
So let's take it. Well,
Itachi would have been last if that match had mattered.
Of course, yes.
Yeah, but it didn't happen.
So let's take it in order. Let's talk about Snake's match first. So Snake, you played Kungmar, who was impressive all season. I don't remember if you played him in Week 1.
No, I don't think I did. No, because I played Maka.
Okay, so this is your first experience against Kungmar. Obviously, you wanna set the tone for your team, and unfortunately, you did not get the win. So at this point, were you guys worried at all about the way the series started, or I guess Snake, tell me about your match first, like about what happened with Kungmar.
It was a really close match. If I remember correctly, it came down to like a brawl, and I needed to win it, and I didn't win the Warrior versus Combo Priest, and then I didn't win it, so I lost. But it was a really good match, and it was like it never felt like it was over until it was over. Like it was really back and forth. It was really close the entire time, and then he just ended up getting the upper hand in the end.
Bro, are we gonna talk about Kungmar and his lineup and like what happened with that? Because that was insane.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'll do it.
Talk about that? Yeah.
I'll do it because Hat told me. He said I could tell whoever I want. It is considering this format. If this format was still continuing, I think it'd be best to not. But since it's not, basically, Kungmar's a great player, but he played. NA is not his main server, so he's limited to the decks he brings. And by the time this came around, I know people on our team and on their team knew like that Kungmar like would always bring the same decks because that's all he has. So they obviously expected us to hard target those decks, which we did. And they came up with the genius idea where the warrior that Kungmar brought, he actually didn't have like any of the cards to bring. He
submitted it, and if anybody made him play it, he just wouldn't be able to, and he would just lose, and he would just let
it ride the bench.
Yeah.
No, yeah. The genius
he never has to play the deck.
Yeah. That's the genius part about doing it in this format is that even if it came to him playing it, they figured it would get banned, and we did ban it, but he wouldn't have had to play it. So he never had to make the deck. It's a really genius play.
That's actually super impressive.
Yeah, it was actually nuts because we had the full read. I said to like them, he literally only has these 4 decks. Let's bully his collection. And then Darkseid and Kungmar and like their whole team together found a way out of that, which is play decks that he doesn't even have, and threw us for a loop. So
Yeah, and he also like he I guess he put like some extra money into his collection and was able to like refine a lot of his lists, because like in his druid list didn't run like Zephyrus or Elise or something like that the last couple of weeks, and then for finals he sunk some money into it and perfected all of the lineups that were like quote unquote janky.
yeah. I messaged Darkseid about it, and he messaged me back, and he just says the best card in this game is the credit card, baby.
It's not wrong.
Yeah.
So that was the first game. Obviously not the tone you want to set, but then Liquid Ox comes out and gets the win over 2-Star, 2-0, and that was early Sunday, right? That was not the evening stretch of games there. So that was where you guys took the lead for the first time and would never, of course, let it up. As we went into Sunday night, Fuel led off against Top Hat 2-0. So Fuel. What happened in that match there? I mean, obviously we can go back and watch the VOD, but I want to hear it from you.
Yeah, there wasn't anything too crazy. We had a little bit of difficulty scheduling, but we ended up working it out, and then it went pretty smoothly. I played 4 aggro decks, and we'd made the correct read. I should say mostly Itachi and Jet, although I actually helped prep in the finals a little bit. I got the house I've been working on is under contract, and so I had a little bit more time, and also it was the finals, and was really hoping to get my first boat. So I even helped prep a little bit for like pretty much the first time all season. I even helped other people a tiny bit. But we made a successful read that the Top Hat played. Liked to play very greedy. Acolyte of Pain in Shaman, and a ton of late game in his Quest Paladin. And also happened to just work out that I'm very comfortable playing aggro decks, and that's what. And on top of that's a lot of the decks I'd been just playing recently, and was comfortable on right now. And so we brought a full aggro lineup that was also more or less a comfort lineup for me, and the games went pretty smoothly. I thought I played pretty well, and things went my way.
Yeah, I remember it being a very quick series. Obviously, the aggro decks against the greedy decks tend to go that way, and it only being a two game series as well. But congrats on that. So now that puts you guys to 7-3 at that point, which puts you into match point of Jetlaw versus Darkseid. Now Darkseid did have a very unfortunate season, as we can see, finished 0-8. Jetlaw, you did not finish 0-8. Was there any like sort of reverse pressure going into this to be like, I don't want to be the one who loses to Darkseid?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, it would have been pretty crazy to have someone not win a match, but to win the championship. But it should. I mean, the fact that Darkseid is the captain, he still, I'm sure, did a ton of work and put together a great team to put them in the finals. So, I personally, I don't underestimate any opponent. I mean, yeah, it wouldn't have felt great, but I mean, in Hearthstone, people get on lucky streaks, so I prep the same no matter who I'm facing, pretty much. And we should add that this championship week, especially, Rebobson was a huge help with us prepping. I played with him several seasons, and he was always like absolutely amazing to play with.
Yeah.
And prep everything, and he really just helped refine everything. I mean, we can talk about the prep work going into the finals. We were spending like 5 minutes talking about one card in a deck. Like, I was like questioning everyone on, like, I remember like Shimmerfly and Hunter, like every little card, it would be like a big debate. And forget about the Q order, what to shield, what to ban. But yeah, as far as my match, I put in all the work, so I knew there was no regrets, and I knew the decks very well. We anticipated he was going to bring the control warrior or the N'Zoth warrior, so my decks were fairly greedy. It ended up being so greedy, he just no sense for him to play it. But I was really happy with what I played, and it worked out, and very relieving to play so many THL games and get rewarded to win match point on stream.
Yeah, it's definitely a cool experience. I'm sure. One I would love to be a part of myself, but that's awesome. I mean, it's a experience that, as far as THL is concerned, I'm sure, you'll remember as being one of your best moments. So, congrats again! Fantastic season from all you guys. Everybody, the only person who didn't play obviously was Itachi that last week, but as you guys mentioned, I'm sure you were very confident that he would have been able to pull it out had it been necessary in that final spot against our hat. So nothing else to say but congrats again. And man, we are really over time here on the show, huh?
Yeah, I mean,
we're worth it.
Yeah.
Worth it. No, this is about you guys. That's why we're here. I feel like we lost Lotus though somewhere along the way.
Oh, I'm here.
He's just soaking in all the stories, all the reminiscing.
Right.
So, we'll get you back involved here. So, as our schedule shows here, we have one last thing to discuss. It's Legacy and Hero Predictions. Obviously, we did see some Hero Predictions last night on Saloon. If you haven't checked that out, please do check the VOD out. So we don't want to, go too in depth here, considering, we've gone pretty far on the pro stuff, which is why we are here. But I do want to get just kind of, we're going to go around the horn real quick with predictions. And we'll start with Legacy. So I've got that up on the screen now. Tap Last versus Anoyo team is the top game. Don't be swayed by the fact that there's already a result in. Anoyo team's up 4-2. Who do we think wins this match? Lotus, I'll start with you.
I think this is going to be a tougher match than it's just because of the way the team are built. My guess, I think Triss is going to win the 1. I think Base is going to win the 2. I think Dano will win the 3, and Ducharme will close in the 4. So I think Tap Last wins, but not by much.
So Lotus says close match, Tap Last wins. Icon, how about you?
Anoyo team all the way, baby. My boy Dano is getting a championship. Easy.
All right. Snake, what do you think about this one?
I know pretty much nothing about any of these people, like literally. So I'm gonna go with Anoyo team because I know Dano is a really good player, and I think that them being up 2 matches is gonna be really good for them.
Yeah, if Dano wins, obviously Mad Arms already win. You just need to get one more at that point. So, that's definitely a reasonable assessment. Fuel, who you picking?
I never vote against any team that has Ducharme in the 4 seed.
Yeah, that's pretty aggressive.
Right.
Jet, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know anyone in these matchups too well. I think I'll say Tap Last. And their PRs set up so they don't mind losing the 5 seed. So the fact that that's kind of Mad Arms, who's a very strong 5 seed, that's why I'll go with them.
Yeah, I think I'm still leaning to Tap Last myself, though I do think this will be a close one. Ducharme in the 4 is just busted. That's not fair. I don't know what we're doing. PR is a broken system if Ducharme's in the 4. So, Dad Legend versus Wet Boys. This is on paper it seems like Wet Boys should roll, but what do we think? Jet, I'll start with you since you went last on the last one.
All right. I did meet Quirky Turtle and Matty Ebbs at the meetup last week, which was awesome to meet them. I've seen JR in real life plenty of times, So it was nice seeing him. I've seen him playing times. My Anodon is probably the person I'm closest with in THL in real life. So I also saw him last week. And Starlax, I've been on his team for multiple seasons. So with that being said, it's definitely a tough choice, but I think I got to give the edge to Dad Legend here.
So the upset for Dad Legend. All right. Let's go with Snake next. Snake, what do you think?
I think that Wet Boys have like the best roster out of like all of Legacy. Like Avi and Daravis in the 1 and 2, and then Matty Ebbs and Quirky in the 4 and 5. Just all of that is just kind of insane. So I'm gonna definitely give it to Wet Boys.
All right. Fuel.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards Wet Boys as well. Although I'm not sure about this one the way I was about the last one. Zaib's incredible, and he's a super, super hard worker. Starlax is not quite as nutty as Duchar 104, but still pretty darn nutty. And I know Daravis hasn't been, even though his performance is still there, but hasn't been grinding as hard as maybe he has in the past. So I think it's likely to be very close, but the fact that Quirky Turtle is having a great season is just doing ridiculous things for what looked like at first a top-heavy team.
Right.
And so I will give the edge to Wet Boys.
All right. Lotus, what do you think?
Yeah, I think I agree with Fuel here. I think this team, they do have a really good 1 and 2, which would be enough to win a few matches, but the fact that Quirky Turtle is having a fantastic season, and so is Matty Epps, kind of puts them over the edge. And I think they'll end up winning this one because they'll win likely the 1 and the 2, and maybe the 4 and the 5.
All right. Icon.
Let's get Wet. Wet Boys wins. Easy.
All right. Hear me out. Honest Zaib upsets Avi. Myanodon takes 2 out of 3 from Daravis. Well, 2 to 3. Yellow Dart wins. Starlax wins. So Quirky Turtle can beat Turd Herder. Doesn't matter. I get Dad Legend winning and going to the finals.
That's a very reasonable prediction as well. They're a very good team.
Yeah, I mean, you don't get to the semis as a bad team. It doesn't happen. So that's yep. I think it's good that like across the board here we've had all these opinions and we've had enough people saying I can see all 4 of these teams winning. So that's a good semifinals right there. That there's 4 teams that are all worthy of making it out of this next into the next round.
Right.
So before we go, we've got Hero to talk about. And I was really hoping Itachi would be here. Not gonna lie. I wanted the like this is like the UFC event, weigh-in, trash talk moment before, we get up on the scale and then we put our dukes up in front of each other. And Biggs versus Colt. Big match. Huge match. Excited about this match. I think we're gonna win. I'm just gonna throw it out there. I don't think we get stopped going into the finals. So I'll leave it at that. Lotus, I'll let you take it from here. What are you thinking?
So I think, honestly, for this match, the Cult is a great team, but I think BIG will win this one. And I think the finals, you guys have a pretty straightforward way to the finals. I think Shimjim will lose to Avi. Actually, no, I said yesterday different. So I should probably be consistent. I shouldn't change my mind and hedge. So I think Avi is not going to beat Shimjim. I think Itachi will win. I am not sure about Jammies versus Big Ted. I think Amphil wins, and I think Crackshot also wins.
All right, Icon.
This is tough. If we're actually going seed by seed here, I think Shimjim beats Avi. I think, Itachi beats Donde. Jimmy's beats the Big Ted. Infall beats Chewbacca. Crackshot versus Super Marlock is the decider. It could go either way. Wait, no, never mind. That means that BIG's has already won. BIG wins, but Itachi wins within the cult.
Fuel.
Well, I'm gonna take Donde over Itachi just so that Itachi doesn't get caster cursed and does end up beating you. But I do think I'm gonna give the edge to the bigs. Anfal is maybe the nicest person I've met in THL. He is just such a sweet person, and he's really, really strong. His first ever hero game, he beat Try when he subbed for the 2 seed, and he's having an absolutely killer season. I think the BIGs have got this.
He'll fix the crap out of your car too, just for the record. So if you're ever in Massachusetts and your car breaks down, look up Infall. You won't find him in the yellow pages like that, but I'm sure we can. I'm sure we can hook it up. Snake, what do you think about this match?
I think that this is going to be like an incredibly close match. I think that the one could easily go either way between Avi and Shim. I think that the two is really evenly matched. I don't know much about Jamie's, but I do know that Big Ted's a good player, so I think I'll give it to him. I think that Anfield will beat Chewbacca, and I think Super Murloc's going to win against Crackshot. So I think it's really up in the air between the ones and the twos, honestly. I think that those are going to be the two most important matches, the Avi and Shim and then the Itachi and Dondi. But I have no idea who's going to win this. I think that everyone in the semis right now incredibly deserves it. I think that these are by far the 4 best teams. I think that all of these are going to be close. Like everything here is just going to be such a close game.
And that's what you want. You want close matches. You want the exciting matches for sure. And who haven't we got? Jet. I don't think we got your opinion yet on this one.
Yeah. So it's really hard for me to pick the team that Itachi's not on in a matchup to win. I think he just does that much work and is that good of a player. With that being said, I know how strong it is to have Crackshot on the 5 because I played with him in the past. Jammies, I know, is a very good player. Played him at DreamHack Atlanta, and he beat me with Sound the Bells, and I still remember that because it's such an oddball card to see. And then Donde, I know you're a great player, but you're also a Pats fan, so that does not work in your favor.
I just know all about winning, man.
Well, you have won a lot this season, but I don't think you'll be winning this week.
Oof. All right. No one gets kicked out of HearthCenter for going against me. I'm just saying that's not.
It's kind of expected.
You're just never going to be.
I play fantasy football, and I have a rule where no Pats can be on my team, no matter what. So
I have a rule where no Jets can be on my team. But that's a lot easier to not break.
Yeah.
I'll have to tell you about my one Pat scenario where they got auto drafted after this.
So last but not least, let's talk about a dude versus Tan Pams. Snake, obviously you have the most invested in this match, so I think I know which way you're gonna lean. Who's gonna win?
So I said that this is like the 4 best teams and everything's gonna be like super close, but
What?
Easy 5-0 sweep.
He said 5-0 sweep. All right. Okay. I mean, I like the confidence, and I can definitely see it. Jet, what about you?
Tampams has a very solid lineup. We saw Brushy Tuna was the 1 seed in Pro and did very well. Lefty and Dirty Mike have been playing THL for ages. It's me, Mike. I played in Open Cups, so I know he's a very good player. But also our teammate Snake is on the other team, so I gotta go with my boy Snake.
Fuel, what do you think?
Well, I root against any team that has Snake on it, let alone captained by Snake.
These are both players on the team, guys. Jetlaw and Fuel both play on the same pro team with Snake. Jetlaw goes, I can't vote against Snake. Fuel goes, I must vote against Snake.
It's honestly pretty funny. Also, how Snake and Medusa are on the same team.
But Medusa doesn't even play under Medusa. He plays under Starkey.
Yup.
Yeah.
That's why the name is Assad with 5 S's, because originally our roster had 5 S's, but he made his THL name Medusa's because that's a CSGO.
I gotcha.
So it was supposed to be 5 of us, like, because the I is lowercase, so it was going to be like Starkey, but then he had to sign up for THL as Medusa.
Just got to get everyone on the same page, man. That's captaining 101.
He also DQ'd week 1, but we don't talk about that.
Yep.
And it wasn't like he scheduled his match. He just didn't submit deck lists.
It happens,
Classes.
you know. That's THL right there. It happens. Lotus, what do you think about this match?
I think so. Twos would always say I underestimate Oz teams, even though I played with Oz. Really like the guy. I think Asadud is going to win, but it's going to be a good match.
All right, Icon.
Dude sweeps, dude. They're crazy, man. If you gotta see it to believe it. I'm telling you. I think all 4 of them are easy. 4 of them are like not easy wins. Sorry, that's not allowed. But Medusa spends maybe another 20 hours figuring out how to beat Osmo, and then gets a 3-2. So. I spend
more time one-on-one practicing with Medusas than I do sleeping in any given week. So
yeah.
I think he'll probably.
Yeah, the amount of time that Snake spends on him is actually insane. So I think Sawdude takes the whole series, but first they take Tampams.
I think this is closer than you guys are giving it credit for. I'm gonna paint this picture for you. I think it's me, Mike V gets the win in the 5. And I think Dirty Mike is just he's so good at last hero standing. I think it's shocking that he's 4-5 right now, and I feel like that could be the upset that they need in this matchup. I think Snake does win. I think Medusa's does win. So that's 2-2. I think Brushy Tuna versus Shiny Pants needs to be on stream. It needs to be the last match played because it's going to come down to that.
Wait. You're predicting Snake to win and Medusa. Have you met Starkey?
Shiny plays 9 p.m. on Sunday.
I love it. See, I knew in my heart.
Yep.
It is the last match played. I love it. I want it. I want it on stream. Make it happen. It's on. It's gonna come down to that.
Never mind. Yeah, that should be the last match played. I'm not sure. I need to get confirmation on when Starkey plays, but that might be the last game.
And I mean, obviously, I could be wrong, and that it could be a non-factor as far as the score is concerned. But I do believe that it will come down to that, and I think that's a very hype match, and I have no idea how to call that match. So, yeah, I can't wait. So that's my prediction. 2-2 going into 9 p.m. on Sunday.
Also, if anyone is looking to play on Saturday, we're still looking for someone to play Saturday afternoon.
Yes, please do let Lotus know if you are interested Saturday afternoon. Any of the playoff matches out there, you should definitely hit up the Discord again, of course.
I'll message Sanguine after stream. She plays 1. Wait, no, that's Sunday. Never mind. I don't think any of us have matches scheduled for like afternoon Saturday. No. Okay, never mind.
So, all right then. That's everything. Thanks for sticking with us on this 90-minute odyssey that was HearthCenter. But it was a fun one. Thanks to all of our guests, of course, everybody from FTL who made it and could not make it. Congrats again, guys, on your championship. We'll never be able to take that away from you. And I'd only really want to take it away from Itachi anyway. The rest of you guys are cool. So that's fine. But thanks again for being here, Icon. Thank you, Lotus, as well. And we will see you guys again next week with our final HearthCenter of the season. where we will preview the Legacy and Hero Pro. I've been talking for too long. Legacy and Hero Finals. We'll hopefully have a little bit more on duos, and see where else the night takes us. So, thanks again. Hope you guys have a great week. Good luck in your matches for anybody out there who's playing, and we'll see you there. Next Wednesday.
See y'all next Wednesday.
Night, everybody.
Thanks for having us.